How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional day. It's Friday. We usually do this on Thursdays, but it's been one of those crazy weeks. So, as they say, the show must go on, and it's all good in the neighborhood. All right, so let's get it. So, I have three specific subject matters I want to talk about today. All right. And obviously, I'll save the best for last with the Jada Pinkett Smith and the Will Smith debacle because it's just entertaining at this point. And basically, tonight, just going to be talking about what's happening in the entertainment business. All righty. So, I'm going to start off with first Juicy J, one of the greatest rappers slash producers to ever do it. Okay. From good old 3 6 Mafia. Rest in peace to Gangsta Boo. He came out with this statement a couple of days ago, and he's talking about he's concerned about hip hop sales declining by 40%, and he calls for a meeting. Now, before I get into it, this does not surprise me because in today's world, one, competition is more fierce than it ever used to be. When I was coming up, there was foreign music out there. There was music out there from other foreign countries by various different foreign artists, but it wasn't as popular compared to what it is now, especially with more people immigrating to the United States, whether legally or illegally. Um, More and more big music festivals happening overseas. So it's gotten to the point, especially probably within the last 6 to 10 years, um, that it's becoming normal for American artists to tag team with artists from other countries who speak other different languages, whether it's Afro beats, whether it's Spanish artists, even artists from Europe, artists from the Middle East, artists from all over the place. The world is more quote unquote international than it ever has been right now. So hip hop has number one, hip hop has more competition than they've ever had in history. So that's number one. Number two, most of the hip hop today's music, it sucks. Now the production as a whole has gone up, is definitely 10 times better than what it used to be when I was a teenager coming up. But majority, at the end of the day, and I'm sure even the same goes for teenagers. Eventually, you're gonna get tired of just hearing about, okay, I have sex, I shoot people, I sell drugs. I do drugs because, like I said, now it's more popular to be a dope fiend. It is like when I was coming up, it was quote unquote supposed to be popular to be a drug dealer, but now it's more popular to be an actual dope fiend. People talking about, sniffing cocaine, doing heroin, doing mollies, and, sipping lean, all that craziness. So that's what's popular right now, more than ever before. But there's not that many. If you really think about it, there's not that many quote unquote real hit songs. And I know they just had the BET Hip Hop Awards, and it was hosted by Fat Joe. I'll leave that alone. But it just award shows aren't really what they used to be, and the sales industry isn't what it used to be either. Because most artists don't make money. They don't make that much money from the sales like they used to. They make money from touring. They make money from selling merchandise. They make money from endorsements. They don't make money like back when I was coming up, where you went into a physical store to buy a CD. you know you got more record sales, and even back then you made more money off of selling your music. But back then, most of your money, I remember, back in the reality TV show called The Band, Making the Band with P Diddy, one of his executives from his company was like, um he because they were complaining about not getting their checks, and he was just like, one, you have to remember, he's like, the music that you sell, the money that you make from selling your music is very small. He said you make your money from touring, and this was back in 2002, 2003. He was just like, this is over 20 years ago. He was like, the executive from Bad Boy Records was like, hey, you make your money from selling merchandise and touring, because they were complaining they weren't getting the being able to put on a good show right. They just thought, hey, I just got to be nice on the mic. I can walk around stage looking cool, and that's it. And it's like, no, you have to have some sort of choreography. You have to practice these songs. You have to get the people hyped. You have to do all these specific things, and if you don't get good at this, people are not going to want to come back to your shows. Because even before I even get into what Juicy J says, what he said, remember, right now you got a lot of hot new quote unquote artists out here who can't even sell out a stadium. Okay, that's one thing you got to take into consideration. You got a lot of hot artists, quote unquote, right now. The younger artists, they can't even sell out a stadium because their fan base isn't as big as they think that it is. Because social media, you might be hot on social media, but are you hot enough to the point? Are you to the point where people actually want to physically come and see your show? I've been to 2 hip hop shows my whole life. My bad, 3. First one I ever went to was in 2015 to see my favorite rapper, Tech Nine. All right, it was a small venue, but the venue was sold out. And the only reason why the venue wasn't that crowded is because, like I said, I'm from the DMV area. Most people have to go to work. If that show would have been done like in New York, Las Vegas, or Los Angeles, even Miami or Atlanta, I think it would have been more crowded and whatnot. But usually when something is a concert happens on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even a Thursday, because even when I went to go see Brudman from the Fifth Floor in Atlanta last month in September, it was only 7 people in the whole freaking room, and it was sad, but it was still a good show. I was able to sit up front. I was happy about that, but I think it was because the show was on a Thursday. Like he came all the way from California to Atlanta to perform in front of 7 people. But I know that's how it can be at any show. Nothing's guaranteed in entertainment. But I think if maybe he would have been promoted more, number one, or two, if it was on a Friday or a Saturday, it would have been something different. But because it was a Thursday and most people have to go to work on Fridays, and then nowadays, because the way how inflation's working and people were paying more and more for darn near everything nowadays, especially food, beverages, housing. A lot of people just can't afford to do anything really entertaining outside of maybe go sit at a bar or sit at a lounge, and even then, you're going to pay out the yin yang, so that the liquor stores are getting people who like to drink or going to the liquor stores and having their own house parties because it's just too expensive to go to a bar right now. But anyways, I digress. I know I've gone off on a tangent on that one. But moral of the story is you have artists of my generation who are selling places out. Like, great example, when I went to go see Snoop Dogg back in, I think it was July or beginning of August. Yeah, beginning of August. Him, Wiz Khalif, Warren G, Too Short, I think Burner. I think that's another. That's a Mexican artist, real good artist. All those different artists, that place sold out. Snoop Dogg is in his 50s and he still sells places out. Because they always talk about trying the older artists just need to go shut up and sit down and whatnot. But these younger artists, you're not leaving a legacy. And the sad thing is you're putting all your cards into just being a good artist and things of that nature. And I'm sure that a lot of them are acting and doing and selling merchandise and doing other things on social media, and are the smarter ones are obviously buying cash flowing brick and mortar businesses. But the moral of the story is you have a particular sector of hip hop right now that nobody wants to listen to. Or if they do, they might listen to it, but they don't want to they don't want to pay for it. They might listen to your music for free on YouTube or on another most likely YouTube or any other online profile. Um, but they're not trying to pay for it. Number one. Two, they don't even want to go see your shows. So if nobody wants to go see your shows, that means you're not going to be making money like that. So Snoop Dogg is still selling out shows. And that's why I wanted to go see him, because I'm like, I know he's getting older. Eventually he's going to be like, I'm tired of touring, you know. But that's what it is at the end of the day. It's like, and it's 40% down. And then, like I said, you have competition. People want to hear music. People want to hear music that matters. Again, I grew up in a time where we had the party music when it comes to hip hop. We had the gangster music. They considered to be conscious. They considered to be backpack rap music. Artists didn't all sound the same. You had artists from New York sounding like they were from New York. Even artists that sound from New Orleans didn't sound like artists from Atlanta. That's both the South. Artists from New Orleans didn't sound like artists from Texas, from Houston. Okay. Same thing with Detroit artists never sounded like a Chicago artist. So Chicago didn't sound like Cleveland. I can point it out. Bone Thugs and Harmony sounded nothing like Twister. Only thing they had in common is they rap fast. Okay. Twister didn't sound anything like Royce the 5'9". Okay. Do or Die didn't sound like D12. Do or Die's from Chicago, D12's from Detroit. Catch my drift. Okay. So that was the thing. Another great example, even California, Bay Area versus Southern California. Snoop Dogg didn't sound anything like Snoop Dogg being from LA didn't sound anything like E40 from the Bay Area, known as Northern California. So I rest my case. Okay. So even like great example, another better example, Cash Money, No Limit. both from New Orleans, from different projects, but they did not sound anything like each other. My generation of rap music, you had to sound different from somebody else, and you had to actually want to bring out had to bring out a good party song, but you had to bring out a real song all at the same time. That music that makes you party, have fun, and the music that makes you think. It's not as prevalent as it used to be. And then being able to speak clearly and people can understand you. That's another thing that because even a lot of young people. Great example. I was surprised how many young people were at the Snoop Dogg concert. Okay, I'm 40 years old. Okay, I'm seeing teenagers there and college kids listening and bumping their head and rapping Snoop Dogg's lyrics. Okay, so it was a mixture of ethnicities. It was a mixture of ages at that concert, and that's what made it cool. And that's my point at the end of the day. Okay. So that's why, and I think hip hop sales are going to continue to go down if the music is still subpar and substandard, especially given the fact that the industry in itself, I can talk trash about them because I'm never going to work for these people. The industry in themselves, they, what is it? The industry themselves, they freaking want the music to be ignorant, want the music to be stupid, you know. So it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day. It really wouldn't. But I'll leave it at that. But anyways, I digress. So let's see. Hip hop is proudly boosted by the biggest generation in the world for years, but 2023 hasn't yielded the same success. Juicy J recently spoke on rap sales declining 40% and believes that hip hop community needs to come together for a meeting. He says, "I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I'm being real. Rap music is down. Rap music is down 40%. The 3 6 Mafia members said in a video, check the charts, check the math. I don't make the rules. What are we as rappers, producers, composers going to do about this S? Because it's down 40% this year. Check the charts, do your research. This is a fact." While the mental trillness rappers was asking listeners what they were going to do, he had his own suggestions. Let's have a conversation, he says. We got to figure some stuff out. We got to sit down and talk. Let's have a meeting. Let's meet up somewhere and have a big effing meeting. And that's just straight up to the point to what Juicy J has to say. But it's like I said, you have so much you have so much competition with other artists from other various areas. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. For me, that's like an opportunity for one to step their game up. But then two, it's just like you're not producing like the OGs are the OGs, but they're not going to be around forever. To me, there's barely a handful of young artists out there that even catches the eye like that of the young people. I'm like, for me to even see them walking around wearing their t-shirts, and then the young people, a lot of them, do they even want to go to your shows? I don't want, it's not for my generation, so I don't want to go to your show, so I'm good. But do the young people want to go to your show? That's the question. Because one thing I can say is, like my favorite artist, Tech Nine, he didn't really start to blow up until he got older. But here's the thing: Tech Nine's music was always cross generational music. Number one, two, he could be on a rock tour he could be on a tour with a rock band, or he could be on a tour with a hardcore hip hop artist. He was always that, because I remember once lyric he says, I mix hip hop and I do it with some hard rock, because he always mixed his music up, so he could have a mosh pit to his hip hop music, but then he could be at a gangster on a tour with 3 6 Mafia and Snoop Dogg and whatnot, and still rock the house. You know what I'm saying? So still bring the house down. So that, and really bring it. So that's the thing. That's the thing at the end of the day. That's why the OGs are still making money moves, and a lot of the young guys are like, "Hey, what are we gonna do? People aren't feeling your music like that." So it is what it is. So let me know in the comment section if you have any suggestions what rappers could do to make people want to listen and buy the music in today's generation. Because my personal opinion, people get tired of hearing the same old I get high, I have sex, especially some of the women artists, talking about the color of their butts and all this other crap. I mean, the funny thing is what they're saying isn't new as far as music. There's always been raunchy rappers out there like that, like the Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, and whoever else. Um, Even what's her name? Forgot the big woman's name, because that's how relevant she is to me. That's how relevant all these artists are. But Lizzo, yeah, Lizzo, that's her name. I knew it was on my tip of my tongue. But anyways, you had in my generation, you had to buy you could find these people online, not on social quote unquote social media. They'd have their own websites. This is when a lot of music artists were going independent. More even more so back then, especially from the South. But you had the female artists and the male artists talking about having sex. I mean, heck, Too Short, a great example. Talk, Luke, the Two Live Crew talked about the raunchy stuff. I think they get a little bit more vulgar with it now, but with the social media, everything is out there now. So it's just like talking about sex is a boring thing. It's such a big, like, especially sex is such a bigger business now than it ever has been before because of social media. If you see a half naked man or a woman online, 9 times out of 10, they got an OnlyFans page or a link tree, and they're telling you to give cash app them and, what is it? Send them a gift on Amazon or something like that. So it's not nothing new on some realness, family. Let's just keep it real. So that's why something like that has basically become boring. You know, you talk about something long enough, it's boring. You do something long enough, it can become boring. That's why if you do things in moderation, you can enjoy it a little bit. But if you talk like to a sex worker, sex is boring. Let's just keep it real. They just do it to the point because they're making money and they like the attention that they get online. But I'll leave it at that. And I'm not knocking the sex workers. If you're a sex worker, do what you do, make your money. To me, you're not breaking any laws. As long as you're not hurting anybody, do what you do. All right, now this was interesting. Speaking of money, Cedric the Entertainer, he had a family fund at one time, but he closed it. He ended it after the family complained that it wasn't enough money. Now, before I get into this, and this is unfortunate when people become lottery winners and people become celebrities. The friends and family, especially the family, become the biggest vultures, blood sucking ticks, blood sucking leeches on the freaking planet, and just want to, And it kind of goes into what Jay-Z said about why he didn't give a family member a couple of $1,000s and whatnot, which he could have just did like that, but he didn't because he's like, I'm not going to start a trend of you guys always coming to me. When I come to the cookout, I want to have fun with my family. I'm not going to start a trend where you guys always come to, like, it was a principle for him. And I'm not mad. A lot of people disagreed with it. It is what it is. But it's the principle of what Jay-Z's like, hey, you freaking I know if I give you this money, you're just gonna want more. And even though it's a couple of, I think it was only like 35 or $4,500 and whatnot, he could, which he makes in seconds, not even minutes in this life right now. He's like, but I know that I'm gonna start a trend. And I know that you're not serious about quote unquote whatever investment that you have, So I get it and I respect it. And plus it's his money, he can do whatever the heck he wants with it. But Cedric the Entertainer, um, seems to have had enough of his family members when he voluntarily used to help them out with he used to have a family fund. He created it, putting in $25,000 to help with emergencies like mortgage payments or assistance with bills. He's got a new book called Flipping Boxcars. When he was interviewed on the Breakfast Club, he was talking about the fund and he explained how he approaches family members borrowing money. He stated, and I quote, I definitely know how to say no. I say nay. I pass. I'm past no. He began. I used to have a whole fund for the family every year, 25,000 for whatever it is. You can get it if you qualify. Not getting it for nonsense, but if you needed school money, he said. Such the Entertainer then added that his sister managed the fund and that family members were only allowed to take a portion as opposed to a single individual using the entire $25,000 fund. And I don't think anything is wrong with that. But the sad thing is, just imagine having that kind of fund and you put that, because a lot of families have funds like this, but it's not funds. It's not just funds for emergencies. It's funds for, hey, um, or somebody going to school or whatnot. It's funds for, hey, we're going to start a business. It's funds for, hey, we need a down payment on buying a house. you know as accumulating assets. Those kind of funds are beautiful things, but unfortunately a lot of times people just want to come um borrowing money from you just because they want some money or because they need it, and they're always crying poor mouth. It's like, and I've had friends and family members that have been like that, and it's like, I don't even have to say nothing to you. When I just stop talking to you, that's the hint that I'm not rocking with you like that. So it is what it is. It's nothing, no hard feelings. I got nothing bad for you. I wish you the best of luck in life, but I know that you're not for me as a family member or as a friend. So blood is blood, friends are friends. But if you're not adding any value in my life, and if you're always sucking away at my life, then what is your purpose in my life? And I think most reasonable people have that kind of mindset. So that I respect such an entertainer for doing. He had it, they messed it up, and he shut it down. Period. I don't think it needs to be more. It's very explanatory. Doesn't need to be explained anymore outside of that because he gave him a shot, and it is what it is. He gave him a shot, and it is what it is. So I look at it like that. But anyways, um, I digress. But so the last but definitely not least, because I just definitely want to, like I said, I want to knock this out because I got some other stuff to do. Last but not least, Jada Pinkett Smith. It's funny how for the last 3 years, if it wasn't talking about the whole debacle that happened at the award ceremony, the Oscars, I think it was last year, in 2022, with Will Smith smacking Chris Rock and basically, in a sense, ruining his career. Because the last two good movies that Will Smith was in, one was about him being a Haitian slave trying to run away to freedom, and then the one before that was King James. And because that situation happened, I want to see the King James movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, but unfortunately, because of that, I've not really wanted to see any new Will Smith movies. And then I know that they were still trying to do Bad Boys 4, and I don't think they should because Bad Boys 3 wasn't even memorable. Bad Boys 1 and 2 was good. It's like I said, certain movies and TV shows need to be left back in time when they first came out. Like Frasier was a great show. They're trying to bring Frasier back. Doesn't seem like it's going to be work. It doesn't seem like it's going to work because it was a totally different time. We're talking about late 90s to early 2000s. Okay. Mid to late 90s, early 2000s. That was when that, shows like that were great. Those kind of sitcoms, like when they brought Night Court back, it is terrible. It is terrible. It is terrible. I'm just, ugh. That's why I said it's like when they try to bring these shows back nine times, 90% of the time, the shows are going to suck. The movies are going to suck. It is what it is. That's just my personal opinion. But I digress. But anyways, the unfortunately, the last movie that was worth mentioning that Jada Pinkett Smith was even in was Girls Trip, and she really wasn't even the star of the movie. Tiffany Haddish was the freaking star of the movie. But I digress. But one thing I would say with sincerity is she's still talking about the stuff that happened in the 90s. Okay. And as far as, Tupac being her one and only soulmate, I don't even, I've said this before and I'll say it again because I'm quoting what she said. I'm not, slandering anybody's name. I think if Tupac was still alive and they would have been together, I'm just going to be honest with you. I think Tupac would have ran her over verbally, and because he wasn't that guy to take trash from people. He had a worse attitude than her. I think the only reason why because certain women actually like men to cuss them out all the time. Not all, not even some. I mean, not some, but not all. Definitely not all. As Zoe Williams would say, some but not all. Like men to verbally cuss them out. That's what they're used to. That's what they like. A lot of men like that. I don't like drama unless I'm getting paid for it. I always quote DMX. I don't like drama, so I stay to myself, stay focused on this rap stuff, and hope for the wealth. All right, so that's kind of me. I'm a no nonsense kind of guy. Doesn't need to be any drama over a relationship. Now drama over some money. Let's have a conversation. But it is what it is. But anyways, so last but not least, and then she revealed that her relationship with her husband Will Smith, they've basically been separated since 2016. And I guess it's not a big surprise because even when they first got together, they talked about having an open relationship. Does it matter to me? No, it doesn't. I mean, even the fact that only time I mentioned Jada Pinkett Smith is either she's talking about Tupac or she's talking about how Will Smith is, that she's doesn't like him or she doesn't respect him or how they're separated. Like it's not a big secret that these people are not really married. It's a business relationship. And as far as I'm concerned, I guess the only thing that's really going to save marriage in America is for people to have arranged marriages like they do in other countries, because for a lot of people, it's just turned into a freaking joke. So I leave it at that. But that's all I got. And if you're gonna have a business relationship, then have a business relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see it hurting anybody. But Will Smith, it's unfortunate that he's to the point now where it's like people aren't really rocking with him like that. But I wish him the best, and I wish everybody else the best in this life, because he worked hard to get to where he's at, and it's sad. One night has kind of, in a sense, ruined it a little bit. So, but these are rich people with rich people problems. That's why most working people that even engage in very long, in-depth discussions about the Smiths, I'm just like, these people live life of luxury in Southern California, and they're not hurting for anything. Okay, in a part of the country where they have homeless camps. So if you're just gonna look at the economic numbers, so it is what it is. But on that note, family, do the great thing for things. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great night. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, don't forget to check out WEBULL, Stash, Acorns, Crypto.com, Coinbase. With all those, you'll be able to make some money moves, so you don't live broke like a fool. And as always, remember to say, have to go the Booker T route.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Work hard in this game of life, and it's going to be all right. So on that note, family, I'm out. And as I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live broke like a fool.
Michael, now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc., and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc., and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot, to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc., and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another, and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program, and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day.